Hey guys, it feels so good to be here connecting with you guys. Right when I get in front of this camera and start talking, things just feel right. You know what I mean? I don't know if you know what I mean, but what I want to talk about is our confusion and what it really is and how I've learned what my confusing thoughts and confusing decisions and indecisiveness and not knowing what to do and all of this, how what I've learned through my experience with it, of what it really means and what the best course of action is to do with all of this confusion. I got this insight as I was half awake, like at 5. My cat, who doesn't usually sleep with me, somehow ended up in bed with me until like 5 in the morning, and then I just hear just like loud meowing at 5 in the morning. He wanted out. But as I was waking up to him meowing at 5 in the morning, this deep insight of what confusion really is came to me. And it was just like confusion is fear, indecisiveness, fear, not knowing what to do, fear. And I was like, oh, that's a great insight, but I was too tired to write it down. So I was like, if I remember it, then it's something that is important and I'll talk about it. Because I couldn't, when you're in that half asleep mode, you kind of know something is important, but you don't really know if does this just sound significant because I'm like half in dream, like in the ethers and half in physical reality. So it stayed with me. And what I learned is confusion is just like a compromise, because deep down you know what to do and you know the right path. You know in your heart, somewhere deep within, and this is why the confusion even happens. It's that you know which way to go, but you're afraid. There's fear to go that way. So, as a coping mechanism, you allow the mind to come in with all its rationality and with all its analytical analyzing, and you in that way justify churning away from your whatever it is, the right path, the passion. Maybe it's leaving a relationship, leaving a job, or starting a relationship, starting a new job, a big change perhaps, moving, whatever it is for you. So because you know exactly where you know in your heart the right way to go, but there's fear, so you allow the mind to creep in and pull you from that direction. And that's the thing, is you can't just follow this mind projection of the logical, practical, whatever thing to do, and everything's going to be okay. You're going to be left feeling super indecisive, like, something's just off here, something isn't right, because something isn't right and something is just off. So really what confusion is this avoidance. It's a way of avoiding our path due to fear. And whatever that means to you, whatever your path is, it could be in relationship, it could be in career, in family, in where you live, whatever. Maybe a diet. It could be even mundane things. So what I gathered is the reason the confusion exists is because there's an inner conflict where our soul and our heart and the divine is pulling us this way, but the mind simply cannot grasp it and cannot make sense of it because it just is something totally maybe out of the ordinary, completely out of your comfort zone. So you tend to try to justify not going with your spirits or your divine intention. You justify it through the mind's analyzing, through the mind's thinking. And it's just so clear when we're confused that there's this movement going on. There's this movement of, we know deep down on one hand, but on the other hand, how could we possibly do that? Because it's so scary, it's so new, I don't know if I'm gonna make it, I don't know if I'm good enough, I don't know if this is that actually real? Is that really a divine inspiration? Is that really where my soul wants to go? Or am I just like going crazy? You know what I mean? All of these things surface when we're about to make a major shift, a new shift. So when we're about to transform or about to shift, in whatever way this is relevant to you, a lot of confusion and indecisiveness can arise. And that confusion is just like our way of justifying avoiding our path and avoiding our dharma, as the Bhagavad Gita would say. And when we avoid our path and avoid our dharma, there's always going to be energetic and internal, I don't want to say consequences because that's heavy, but there's going to be an internal discord going on, an energetic dissonance going on. And we're always going to be feeling the out of alignment movements towards the logical, practical, whatever. And it's not that your new path isn't logical and practical from a bigger picture. You just can't see the logic of it and the practicality of it yet, because it hasn't been revealed to you, because you haven't started taking those steps. Once you start taking those steps on that scary, new, but inspiring and divine path, then it starts looking more and more practical. And you're like, oh, this actually, all the pieces of the puzzle are coming together. It just takes that initial trust to, even though you're confused and hesitant and scared, and the mind saying a million different things and has a million different arguments of why it can't happen, as long as you just keep taking those steps towards it, then that, first of all, the confusion will just melt away. Because when you actually feel what it feels like to act in alignment and to act in your passion, there's no room for confusion anymore. You might have doubt, you might be unsure, you will have insecurities come up, but that's the whole reason for your path anyways, is for you to work through these issues, for you to overcome your doubt, for you to overcome your insecurities. And that's what the beautiful thing about moving into uncertainty does for you, is it brings you out of your comfort zone. And that's where all the real growth in life happens, is outside of your comfort zone. Your mind's going to be pulling you this way, saying, stay here, stay in this relationship that's, you should leave because it's comfortable, even though it's toxic and holding you down. Stay with this job that you've outgrown, even though you are destined for much, bigger, better things. Stay in this town because it's cozy, even though there's this new opportunity here that your spirit is yearning and calling you towards. So the mind is going to have all of these arguments. And, it's just a survival machine. It's a machine. It's not a master. So that is the insight that came to me, is like, oh, confusion is just fear. Indecisiveness is just fear. We always do know in our heart which way to go and what our spirit is calling us towards. And as we start taking those steps, it just becomes so much easier to see the mind's manipulations and how you just start seeing through all these programming, like these program type thoughts and these condition type thoughts. And you just start seeing how, oh, wow, that's not me. I don't need that. I can let that go. I'm seeing through this now. And the thing is, you won't see through these programs if you stay where you're at and if you keep resisting your path and your truth. These programs will still stay intact and still have governance over you. And they'll still control you to a degree until you get so miserable that you're like, okay, I can't live like this anymore. But when you start taking those steps to your truth, your dharma, what excites you, the most exciting thing you could do, even if you're terrified. When you start taking those steps, the programs become so much more like just easy to see through. Because you're going into a state of higher vibration. When you follow your highest excitement, when you follow your alignment and where your spirit is pulling you, you're actually raising your vibration, which is another way of saying you have more awareness. And with more awareness, you can see the unconscious programs and the unconscious conditioning that has been really, kind of just manipulating you and running you into doing things that are just maybe more comfortable and not as growth oriented. And I don't want to make this sound super negative. It's okay. We all get pulled into subconscious programming. It's part of the path. Even when you start taking steps on your dharma and your truth, every now and then you are still going to get pulled off. It's not like I would say life doesn't get like easier, but it gets so much more satisfying, and you just start, it's like more rich and there's more depth to life when you're on your path, right? There's obviously, though, there still needs to be the obstacles and challenges and hurdles for you to overcome. Like I was saying, that's the gift of walking into uncertainty and the unknown. You're going to have a chance for all of your insecurities and darkness and all of these programs and conditioning, they're going to surface. This path, your dharma, the place your spirit is calling you to go, is going to trigger all of this. And that's why the path is so beautiful, because it's healing you. As you start living your highest excitement, as you start living your passion, you start healing yourself, because you start coming into contact with the things and the beliefs that have kept you small, that have kept you in a state where maybe you didn't think you're good enough for your path, or you didn't think you were worthy. And so these beliefs start coming up. And that's the true gift. The destination is truly just an excuse for the journey. It's all about the journey and the discoveries you make along the way, and just coming into more of a self-realized state. That's the best way I can put it. So that's what came to me. That's what confusion is. It's just fear of going into the unknown and into the most exciting but sometimes fearful path. So I hope this insight was relevant for you guys. Thank you so much for watching and subscribing, liking, and the comments. It's amazing. It's all very just exciting for me to see. This is my passion. This is what I love to do, and just to see that it resonates with you guys, it means so much to me. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Namaste.